What's up, everybody? And in this quick training, I wanted to talk about the no BS approach to growing your gym memberships using organic and paid advertisement every single month. But first and foremost, I want to talk about the philosophy, right? And specifically, when it comes to growing your business, there's three things that you ultimately want to focus on. Number one, your ability to generate high quality leads with prospects who are ready to buy 24/7, 365. And then number two is your ability to sign on clients on a reoccurring basis. And then ultimately number three is being able to deliver a great service or a great product to the specific group of fitness clients that you're working with, right? Whether you're specifically tailored toward CrossFit, more of bootcamp style, one-on-one personal training, small group training, whatever the different business models are, you always want to provide a great service. And ultimately, when you do these three things right, there's no limit, right? Sky's the limit, and you can scale your business to the moon and back, right? So ultimately from there, we want to talk about like what actually, what is marketing, right? Because everybody talks about marketing and leads and prospects and funnels and all that good stuff, but at the core of it, what is it? And ultimately, marketing your fitness business is not meant to sell someone, right? It's meant to get someone to take an action that you want. And ultimately, as Eugene Schwartz once said, marketing cannot create a desire. It can only channel your target market's inner desires that they already have and focus it onto a product or service that you have. So people are driven to do, different things, whether, that's take action, buy something, take you up on your offer. They're doing this primarily through emotion, and then they're rationalizing it with logic. Like, think of the time when you bought that new car. You didn't, buy the car that cost $50,000 because, oh, wow, this is just a great price. You're probably thinking, oh, $50,000 over a 5 or 10 year period, that's a lot of money, right? But then you imagined yourself, right? You imagine yourself driving the car, what it would look like, what it would feel like, the whole experience, and then you're like, oh, I gotta have it. And then you bite the bullet, so to speak, and take action, right? Well, it's the same thing with marketing your fitness business. And ultimately, you want to channel what your target market already wants and the problems they already have, and position your services or your product as a solution to that problem. So we need to understand first your target market's fears, desires, and aspirations when it comes to fitness, right? And how do you actually go about finding out what people want with your demographic that you're working with? Well, the straightforward answer is really to just go ask them, right? Just ask your current members or clients what they want from a gym membership or a fitness program or a 3-month personal training transformation service, right? Go and ask them. That's the best way you're going to find out, because if somebody already purchased a product or a service from you, chances are there's going to be more people just like them out in the market who are facing similar issues, have similar problems, and they're looking for a solution. And ultimately, you want to, ask emotional questions, right? You want to get to the heart of the matter. And how do you get to the heart of the matter? Well, you want to ask questions like what problems they have, what are the top 3 daily frustrations when it comes to fitness, what they want to look like, what have they tried before in the past, why did this effort fail? Why didn't they get the results that they wanted, right? And then how do they feel about these things, what they're looking for in a fitness program, questions along these lines that ultimately give you an idea of what it is or what common problems your demographic has and what solutions they've tried and what they're looking for as a result. And you want to do this with at least 7 to 10 clients working with you. And ultimately what you want to do is you want to look for patterns, right? You want to connect the dots and figure out, what similarities, what common problems do my demographic have. And if you work with people between the ages of, let's say, 25 and 50, and you have clients from all over the board, well, chances are if you look at your member base, you're going to find trends, right? You're going to find a group of individuals, 80% of them have very similar characteristics, and then 20% are the outliers. Now, we do this by combining our target market's problems and wants and basically use that understanding of what problems and solutions they're looking for, and we combine that with an offer, and we create an offer that's going to work and it's going to be irresistible for the target market that you're looking to work with. And the best way to create an offer ultimately is to look at what you already do, right? Look at what offers you already have. And most gym and studios that, I speak with, they already have some sort of core offer, whether it's, a 3-day trial or come try a free class, whatever works and has worked in the past to get you to, sign on more clients. We can start there, right? You don't have to overthink it. And ultimately, there's different things that you can try, whether it's like a free class, maybe you do something like a low barrier offer, come in for, 14 days and it's only, a lower investment to just get them in and get them in the door and get them interested, and see if you're going to be that individual, from their perspective, that helps them solve their problem. And, you can do something along the line of a fitness challenge as well. Like, that's worked well before, but ultimately with the fitness challenge, you never want to say it's free and then, they come in and it's not free. So people will pay for a good service, a good product. You just got to be straight with them and you got to demonstrate the value. You don't, there's no need to do the bait and switch stuff and say it's free, then it's not free. Trust me, people will buy if it's a good fit, and if they think that you can solve their problem, help them solve their problems in fitness, then they're going to pay you whatever it is that you want. And personally, I've tried these 3 different variations of like a free class, a low barrier offer, and different fitness challenges, and they all work, regardless of what people say. These different offers work in the industry now, so you can choose one of those, as your offer. And now at this point, you've done your market research, you have your offer, and you're like, okay, well, I have my offer, I understand my demographic. Now, like, how do I get it out there? Like, how do you put it out there? What's the best platform? There's these discussions like, oh, maybe I should be on Instagram. No, it's Facebook. Maybe it should be LinkedIn. Well, personally, I would prefer to put in minimal effort to get high quality leads and appointments with prospects 24/7, right? That'd be the best case scenario. But usually that means paid advertising, right? But at the end of the day, one thing I've realized is that you don't want all of your eggs in one basket, so to speak. So we want to shoot for stacked marketing strategies that basically give you an omnipresence in your local market, right? And what does omnipresence mean? It means no matter where your prospective clients go, they see you everywhere. They see you on Facebook, they see you on Instagram, they see you through paid advertising. You're always in front of them, and they know that you are an individual who helps solve a specific problem that they have. And remember, like, sometimes it takes 11 to 12 times or something along the lines of someone seeing your brand, your message, your offer before they actually take action on what you're offering and take you up on your offer, right? So that's not to say, it's super important for you to have different marketing avenues that are not just, one thing. Most people are like, oh, I'm just going to do Facebook advertising, but then they forget about everything else. And instead of, running at 100% efficiency, they're running closer to like 40% efficiency, right? So you're losing out on that 60%. And what can these methods actually look like, right? Like, what are these different strategies? Well, like I mentioned, the title of this video, No BS Approach to Generating More, Gym Memberships Using Organic and Paid Marketing. I'm going to talk about them in just a second. So ultimately, you can do something like organic advertising, which usually means like Facebook or Instagram posts to your personal and business page, and basically reaching out and following up with people who like and comment on your videos. Now, there's a strategy to this, and number one, I'm going to say that it's a long-term strategy. It's not something that you can do, maybe you can, depending on how big, your quote-unquote followers are, or how big of an audience that you have. It can definitely get you some results right away, but ultimately think of it as a long-term strategy. So what you want to do is you want to go and add your current clients who train at your facility as friends on your personal Facebook page. Add them as friends, add your past clients who got results with you, and add prospective clients who maybe you sat down with, had a consultation with, and for whatever reason they didn't buy, right? That doesn't mean that they're not going to buy in the future, right? I've had instances where I talk to people, maybe they're not ready to buy now, but in the future, they come around and they end up, moving forward, because you're constantly reminding them, that you're constantly showing them, your value and what you offer in an organic way, and then they come back around. So Ultimately, what you're doing here by adding people as friends is you're building your local audience, you're building your local tribe, right? Clients, past clients, and prospective clients that maybe didn't even sign up. And ultimately, the strategy here is you want to post valuable content on your social media channels, social media feeds, 1 to 3 times a week. And when I mean value, I mean like stuff that you charge a lot of money for. Just give it away for free. Don't hold anything back, and people will appreciate it, and people will start to value what you say even more over a long period of time. And this positions you as a local authority that helps solve a specific problem for a specific demographic, right? And ultimately, you want to create content around your target market's fears, desires, and aspirations when it comes to fitness, right? The last thing you want to do is talk about things that the market isn't interested in, because then they're not really going to engage and really pause and take a moment to listen to what you're trying to say. And, this strategy can basically be, something along the lines of, take one day out of the week to create, content that you're just going to post 1 to 3 times a week. Nothing too crazy. Don't overthink it, right? And ultimately, you can do something like before and after photos, Facebook Lives, transformation photos, motivational posts, a pre-recorded video, just to give you different ways that you can deliver your message and just see what works the best there. And, obviously, as you start doing a little bit more and a little bit more consistency, you're going to find a feel for what works best for you and what your target audience likes the most. And you want to aim to drop value like 80% of the time and have promotional offers 20% of the time. So that means for every like 3 to 4 posts you do, you want to have one post where you say, hey, by the way, we're offering this special promotion, we're doing XYZ, DM me for more information, things along these lines, right? And ultimately, just to wrap it up with organic strategy, you want to go back when people like, comment, and share who are either prospective members or past members or people that tag other people in their posts. Just reach out to them and start a friendly, conversation, much you would with a prospective member coming into your gym or a friend, and just ask about their goals, get to know, what they're interested in, why they like the post, and just start that natural conversation. And then, invite them in to come try a class, invite them in for a special promotion or offer that you have. And that's a way to generate leads organically, right? Long-term strategy. Number 2, we have email campaigns, right? So email campaigns, people say, oh, email doesn't work anymore. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that an email marketing strategy is still efficient, and it doesn't take a lot more effort based on what you're already doing if you're doing organic marketing as well too, right? So basically, email campaigns, what does that look like? So basically just sending out 1 to 2 emails a week. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to be that individual who sends 2 emails every single day, 6 days a week, because then at that point, you're just kind of spamming and being annoying. So 1 to 2 emails, quality content, a lot of value to members and prospects who didn't sign up with you. And then from there, you can just repurpose what you're already doing with your Facebook Lives, your organic strategy. Just repurpose it and put it into an email as well and send it out. And then from there, basically, when you create an email, you want to go ahead and as you convey the message in writing, and maybe at the end of it, there's some video for people to watch, break up your messages into 1 to 2 lines. Don't write big blocks of text, because people don't usually engage as much and they won't read it through. And you want to ultimately make it as smooth and effortless as possible for somebody that's looking at your stuff. And ultimately, you want to have a call to action at the end, right, of your email, whether it's, click this link to learn more, click this link to watch a full training, click this link to enroll for a special promotion, or ask a question and start a conversation. You always want to end it with some call to action to get people to take an action to do something, right? And then from there, we have personalized text automation for follow-up and internal promotions and referrals. So I personally believe that most fitness businesses, they either don't know or they don't utilize this option as a way to almost guarantee people open and read your messages, right? So an email open rate is closer to about, I want to say 20% is the average. Well, when you send somebody a personalized text, the open rate is like 90% or greater, because whenever you get a text, there's a high probability that you're going to read that text, right? Well, it's the same thing for, other prospective members and stuff like that. So ultimately what you want to do is you want to have text outreach and follow up the strategy here should be simple, punchy, to the point. You can use emojis. You can make it a little bit more fun, and it's kind of like the same way that you would text a friend, right? You're not going to send a massive paragraph to somebody, but you know, it's just a good way to engage with members, talk to them, and follow up with prospective members. And it's pretty cool and an effective way to speak with your members, send special promotions, referral incentives, and automate the follow-up process of people who don't show up to an appointment or people who want to book appointments, right? And there's software out there that can help automate this process, where you just kind of drop your contact list in there, and then you can have all of your communications personalized through a local number, and then start that conversation, right? And as a little bonus thing here, if you're not already doing this, what you can do is you can incentivize referrals 1 to 2 times a month. Reach out to your members, ask how they're doing, and then send like a follow-up text, and then have some special promotion, whether it's a free giveaway, a swag bag, something like that, for whoever refers the most members in the next 2 weeks, right? Something fun, something interesting, people get something out of it, and it's another way to generate leads and talk to all your members at once without having to individually talk to one person at a time, right? From there, we have the paid and basically non-organic social media marketing, right? So paid advertising, which is usually Facebook and Instagram marketing in the fitness industry right now. So personally, this is the way to go if you want a machine to do the heavy lifting for you and generate leads for you 24/7, 365, and generate those appointments for you, right, with qualified prospects. So ultimately, like, this is the ultimate machine that will do the heavy lifting for you, generate leads, generate appointments, basically for you while you sleep, if you do it right. And an important thing to remember is to make this work. You know, you want to make sure that your message and offer that you send out are very specific for your ideal client, right? Most people try some sort of ads and marketing, and they try to market to everyone, and what ends up happening is that they don't get a lot of results. They don't get a return on investment because not everybody that's seeing the message is qualified and is a good fit to work with you. So being specific means that you only show your advertising campaigns to people who are already like your customers, very similar to your customers. That's how you're going to get the most qualified leads and appointments with something like this strategy, right? And you want to make sure that you're looking at the numbers ultimately with this type of advertising for your ads to make sure that they're performing well. And roughly speaking, you should be looking at a cost per click between $1 to $3 for somebody to click on your ad, a CTR, which is click-through rate, the percent of people that, you know, see your ad and click the link that you have, should be greater than 0.7%. And then your cost per lead, ultimately what you should aim for is $5 to like $15 per lead to make it a little bit more cost efficient. And as a side note here, you know, you ultimately, you know, make sure that you're following up with leads within 5 minutes by text, phone, email, and repeating this process till you get a hold of these leads, right? There's a stat I think that shows that like after, I think 10 minutes of a lead coming in, 10 minutes to an hour or something like that, the chances of them responding go down by 40%. If you wait longer than that, the chances are like 60% they're gonna respond. And any longer than that, it's basically like 80% chance that they're not gonna respond anymore. So it's a lot of efficient follow-up that makes or breaks you and your ability to generate these leads into scheduled appointments, right? And ultimately, what you also want to do is what I call retargeting, and it's not what I call it, it's known out there, right? It's aggressive retargeting, and it's basically showing paid advertising to people who have interacted with your Facebook page, website, or ads within a specific time frame. And here we're basically using paid ads to show your ads to people who have gone to your website, Facebook page, and interacted with, you know, your ads at some point, let's say within the last 60 to 90 days. And ultimately you want to dedicate like a small budget, you know, only showing ads to these people 24/7. Just because, you know, someone didn't buy today doesn't mean that someone isn't going to buy, you know, a day from now or 2 days from now. And it goes back to that principle, you know, of omnipresence. When you continually are showing your ads to people who have already shown some interest in what it is that you got going on, chances are if you keep showing it to them and you keep reminding them and you keep putting that good message and offer in front of them, they're going to take action on it, right? And ultimately here, you know, like the best case scenario, you're doing all of these different strategies and ultimately you're plugging the holes in your bucket, right? Because prospective members can exit your efforts to reach out to them, get in contact with them, and get them interested in your facility. Through email, you might not be able to get to some people, but then you're retargeting them and you're showing ads, but then you're also using text automation and follow-up, and basically we're trying to plug all the holes and have multiple channels that we show our message and offer to prospective members in, right? And ultimately, with this strategy, it seems like it's a lot of work, but once you set it up and it's consistent and you write it down on your calendar and you're taking action on it, it's really not that much effort. It's more like maintenance and coming up with new stuff every now and then. And it's not gonna take you, 12 hours a day, 4 days a week to implement these different strategies, right? And, on a good day, you're ultimately aiming for about 2 to 3 leads per day with qualified prospects who are ready to buy. And ultimately, you want to create an appointment, generating machine. And this is one of the key components most fitness businesses that I find don't ever get dialed in. So what happens? You end up having inconsistent months, or you can't scale as predictably because the number of qualified leads is low, so therefore you have less appointments, and therefore you have less sales, and therefore you have less members, right? So ultimately what we're trying to do here is machine and get a machine to do the heavy lifting when it comes to generating prospects and you being able to sign on, new clients on a consistent basis. That's ultimately how you're going to consistently achieve the numbers that you want, right? But yeah, with that said, I want to learn a little bit more from your perspective. What have you tried in the past before? What's worked well for you in terms of marketing for your facility? And, what are you currently doing to market your facility, right? So feel free to drop a comment in the comment section. I'd be more than happy to check it out. And, if there's any questions you have for me specifically, drop them in the comments and I'll see if I can answer them for you to the best of my ability, right? But with that said, that's basically it for this quick training. Thanks everybody. Alan Cortez here, and I will see you next time.